think I'm about ready to install the headers on this thing. So I read through the instructions here, kind of skimmed them. Now I've got most of the prep work done. Obviously the old manifolds are off. I've got the starter off. But there's a couple things in there that I still got to get done. And I'll show you down here. I've got a couple tabs on the bell housing. They're supposed to be trimmed back. This one specifically. And this one. That one don't look too bad, but I'll cut it back as far as I can. And I gotta drop this drag link. It's supposed to disconnect it from the K-member on the idler arm, and I'm gonna try to pull it apart right here on this ball joint on the pitman arm. Alright, so first I'm gonna be pulling this return spring off of my, my clutch fork here, just so I don't accidentally hit it with my blade. Oh God. Alright. And I got my little miniature Sawzall hacksaw thing here. I'm gonna try that. I'm trying not to tear anything else up in the process here. Alright, there she goes. Man, that took a while. This may or may not be the right tool for the job, but it did work. Alright, gotta do the other side. So this one's a good bit shorter, but it still says to do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it while it's easy to get to. Looks like the battery's dying. Oh man, these things are not much count, these little batteries. And I don't think this is designed for cutting much more than PVC. Let me get another battery. Oh, dang. There it goes. I hope that's enough, because that sucked. I'm gonna grab a file and clean these up, and then I'll work on getting the drag link off. Here's a look at those things. I just filed the burrs off the edges and reinstalled my return spring on the clutch fork there. They look pretty good. Alright, I'll work on getting this drag link off now. Okay, so I just struggled for what felt like an hour trying to get these freaking cotter pins out. I finally got it. I had to break them all to pieces. Now I'm going to try to break this loose from this pitman arm. I'm going to try to hit it with this block of wood in hopes that it knocks it up. I don't have a lot of swing room here. Nice. Looks like I did the trick. So the idler side here has just got a bolt going through it with a nut on the other side. So I'm just going to use my impact and a wrench if I can get it on there. There we go. Sweet. So hopefully this should just pull off. So I can try to lift it off of this pitman arm here, and I ought to drop the whole drag link if I can get it lifted that high. I may have to jack the car up so that I can pull the wheels in with the tie rods there when I push up on the drag link. Alright, so I think I got it figured out. I was kind of overthinking it a little bit, but I got this separated, and all I did was lift it up off of it, and it lands kind of over here in the pitman arm. And I just wiggled the steering wheel back and forth till I got it to an area where I could clear it when I lifted over it like that. And now it'll drop out of the way now. So the headers I went with are these Dougs. I think it's D453 is the part number. These are the stainless ones. I got these because they don't straddle the drag length like a lot of the hooker headers do, I guess, and other aftermarket headers. I think TTIs are also about like the Dugs. But they're supposed to be pretty good clearance and just a better to install header. But per the instructions here, I've already got my motor mounts unbolted. And I jacked the motor up. It says to jack the engine up. I'm not really sure how high right now. I think I got it about an inch or so, a little more. But I'm gonna put a blanket underneath the car and probably pull these plugs out real quick. And we'll get started. I think I have to put them in from underneath. So I'm gonna put them underneath the car and feed them up through the bottom. Oh man, not sure how I'm gonna get the headers to stay up in there. I'm having a hard time getting past the power steering right here. I may have to jack the motor up even more. It's pretty high right now, I feel like. The motor mount's totally out of the cross member there. All right, jacked it up some more, and now I got coolant leaking out of the passenger side rear manifold bolt hole. It's very close. It just won't clear. All right, I guess a little higher. Is it enough? Can I get it through somewhere else? I really thought I had this thing high enough. Got the engine even higher. And it's still very, very tight. Just tried something else. Let the motor back down, put the nut back on the passenger side motor mount, and jacked it back up in hopes that it would tilt the engine more away from that power steering box. So that's really where my clearance issue is. I'll try it again. Oh man. Oh, look at there. There she goes. Wow, that's great. Now, how do I keep it there? So I wrapped a bungee cord around the collector down there and just wrapped it around the torsion bar to keep it from falling. But there you can see it. She's up here, finally. Not without fight. Obviously, I have to put a gasket on it. I'm just trying to get the headers in place. I knew it was going to be somewhat of an ordeal. There we go. Now I need to do the passenger side. Okay, here we go on the passenger side. I'm not going to say anything about the difficulties of it because I do not want to jinx it. Oh boy, so far, not great. I feel like this needs to go past here, but there's definitely not enough room right now. Jacked it up a little bit more. I'll try it again. It feels like it doesn't want to jack up anymore though on this side. So after hours of struggling here and just fighting this thing, I think I got somewhere to go here now. The instructions did say to remove the 90-degree oil filter adapter, which I have now done. I just couldn't see why it needed to come out, but I have just test fitted it, and I think I understand why now. I ended up pulling off the dust shield cover of my trans here, and I even trimmed this back somewhere, this nub, because it was just, as you can see earlier, it was just impeding me putting that primary up through there. But I think I got it figured out now, and I'll show you what I'm gonna try. So I've got the engine jacked way up. Both motor mount bolts are off. And I'm pretty sure that I have to straddle this thing right there, and it slipped right through that time. Wow. Look at that. And there we go. Now I ran into the 90-degree right there. Now it's clear. I think it's good to go. Yes. Perfect. My goodness, that was an insane struggle. All right, let me get this held here with a bungee and I'll go up top and put a couple bolts in it. I'm so glad to finally have gotten that. All right, let me see. Man, I feel like I beat everything up trying to do that. Okay, just let the motor down. Looks like it's a lot better. I was hitting the torsion bar. Man, what a struggle. These things are not easy to install. Maybe for someone who's done them several times, but that was a lot. Everything I looked at on the internet, you know, they acted like it was really easy to do, and I had a hard time finding information on the 4-speed stuff. I think that really makes it a little more difficult. Maybe the bell housing's a little tighter there to the torsion bar where I had to trim it some more. That was like a major pinch point for trying to get that thing up through there. But I am so relieved that it's in there now. Now I gotta put gaskets on it, and you gotta put some thread sealant on the end bolts because they go into water jackets, but I'll get to that later. I'm just stoked that it's in there and I can take a freaking break. I'm back up under the car now just so I can show you the clearance in case anybody else is putting these on an A-body Mopar. Pretty tight right there. It looks like it's clearing. Imagine if you had larger diameter torsion bars, you might have some issues. I did put solid motor mounts in this car, so I don't know if rubber mounts are gonna cause a worse clearance problem there. Over here, you can see it's kind of, it clears the oil pan okay. I don't know how hard it would be to remove any of those bolts, but if you had to. But pretty good clearance over here. Yeah, it's nice clearance between that torsion bar. And I'm pretty sure the Z-bar is gonna be a challenge, but I'll get to that next. Let's look up top. This looks good up here. Looks like there's plenty of clearance around the steering box. The other side, there's no problems at all. Well, that's it for today. That was quite a challenge. It took me pretty much all day to get that done. Of course, I still got things to button up, like the gaskets and the bolts, and I gotta put the steering linkage back together and the dust shield on. And I think I'm gonna go with a straight oil filter adapter now instead of that 90. But the next hurdle, I guess, in this situation is that Z-bar. So I'm gonna try it out like that before I paint it up all nice. And if it doesn't work, sometimes they say you gotta modify them. You gotta relocate this tab here to the outside and flip it to where this little stud is on the inside. I'm hoping I don't have to do that. We'll see. I emailed Doug's about it and they said that I should be good to go, but you know how that goes. Everybody said this was super easy especially the passenger side, and I think that was the hardest for me. But anyways, thanks for watching.